How you doing, everyone? It's Jay Nanda, San Antonio Metal Music Examiner for Access.com, bringing you a dirty, rotten interview with dirty, rotten imbeciles, D.R.I, none other than guitarist and founder Spike Cassidy, bassist Harald Oimoen.
Oimoen,
sorry. Yes.
I like Oimoen.
I like Oimoen better.
Oimoen.
But yeah, it's your name, so
What's
there
up, man?
you go.
Oimoen. Happy as hell to be
Oimoen.
here.
Thank you so much. Yes. D.R.I just finished an incredible show here at Jack's. It's like, what, 1:30 in the morning or so? San Antonio,
Really?
Texas. They tore this place up. What an incredible night. There it is. See? Proof right there. Very good. What an incredible show. I know, of course, what it was like from a fan standpoint. But, man, I mean, if you've never seen D.R.I before, no, this was not my first time not seeing you guys. But the D.R.I show is not for the faint of heart. But I've always wanted to ask you guys to start off, what's it like for you up there, seeing all the madness from an onstage point of view? Spike, I'll start with you. It's just, I mean, does it ever get old?
It never gets old. It's amazing, and if it wasn't for that, we probably wouldn't have the energy to keep doing what we're doing up there on the stage. We'd be sitting down on stools, and you know, if everybody's sitting out in the crowd sipping drinks on tables and stuff with candles, we'd have to sit down on the stage with, you know, an acoustic guitarist, because the energy we get from the crowd is amazing, and we feed off of it, and we're able to jump around and have some fun all
And
night.
it tastes really good.
Yeah.
Harold, you're as wild as anybody up there. What's it like for you? I mean,
Well, let's see. What was the
seeing all
question?
that
Oh, yeah. No, that's one thing. It's probably one of the coolest things about being in the band. It's just we have some fans that are so dedicated. They'll come see us like every time we play, and there's the city, you know, and it's just amazing. But
some are too dedicated.
Yeah, too medicated. Too medicated.
medicated too.
Yes, and too medicated. Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
but no, it's awesome. You guys got
yeah.
a cool scene here.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that too, because obviously, I mean, like I said, a D.R.I show is just absolute crazy madness. Body surfers everywhere, just people coming up on stage all the time. Body surfing. I mean, I don't know how you guys keep your concentration. And obviously, your music incites that sort of behavior for many years. Obviously, you welcome it. But I also want to ask the other side of it. Is there ever a part, I know you guys are mindful of things that have happened in metal history on stage, incidents, that sort of thing. Does that ever cross your mind, or are you ever worried about something like that?
Yes, all the time. People get hurt. We don't like people getting hurt, you know, and broken bones and busted faces and all that kind of stuff. Fights happen and all, you know, and so yes, we get hurt. Sometimes people don't really pay attention to what they're doing. They get on stage and they're swinging and kicking, and you know, you get a mic in your head, you know, mic stand in your face, knock your teeth out. People slam into you, you know. Sometimes we play places where there's like no stage at all, and the crowd just slams right into you and knocks you into the amp. The amps go over, the drums go over, but you know, we do what we can, and it worries me sometimes, and sometimes it's
Harold, you ever get concerned up there?
Harold never gets.
Besides the mic being knocked over?
I actually broke my leg at a D.R.I show before I joined the band back in '85 at the Olympic Auditorium. It was Anthrax, No Mercy, COC, and Possessed, and the barricade collapsed on me. Almost said, it collapsed on me, and I got my leg crunched, and it was awesome. It was rad. There was like 5 separate pits at the same time. Incredible.
Well, just tonight there was one instance towards the very end. I saw Kurt Breck, the singer, just tell one guy who had knocked over your mic stand about 3 times already.
Yeah.
Finally went over there and told him, "Don't come up here again."
Well, yeah, the side of the stage that they were coming up from, my side of the stage, was no place to come up. They're tripping over everything. They almost knocked over the PA thing. They're pulling the wires out. It was like just go around and come up in the front, like, you know, and it's okay. But don't come up there and trip over the PA and the
pedal board.
You know, the expensive equipment. There's the you know. The PA heads, the power amps are all stacked up there, and they're stepping on them and kicking them and tripping on them. And it's like, dude, you know, respect the equipment and the club and everything. Just, you know,
be aware of your surroundings.
Yes.
And it's okay. You know, we don't mind. You know, come up in the front and get on, get off. That's okay. But if you come up there and you're breaking equipment and stuff, you know, then
tag.
Then we get upset.
Now, Harold, I've always thought of you as kind of an answer to a trivia question, as far as the fact that, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody else in the metal scene who has been with his band longer than Harold has without ever having recorded an album with that band. Now, it's been, what, you're going on 17 years in D.R.I.?
Something like that.
But the last album was, what, like 95 or so?
years.
1,700 years.
Well, for them, it probably seemed like that.
But the last the last material we heard from DRI was what, about 20 years ago? Spike?
1995, right?
95, 96.
Recorded in
there-
95, came out in
so,
96, whatever.
I mean, that's an incredible statistic. But of course, DRI played a new song today, so that stat is about to change.
It's 3.
3 new songs, did
Yep.
you? Okay.
Yeah, I'll start with an
you
A.
got an EP coming out.
5 songs.
What can you tell us
the
about
3
it?
of the songs we just played tonight. The new songs are called Against Me, Anonymity, and As Seen on TV.
Awesome.
And then there's 2 other songs that are old songs we recorded, and we're not going to tell you what those are. But
They're heavy and fast.
they're old, way old songs. One of the first songs, or some of the first songs we wrote, and we recorded them, and it's all supposed to come out early next year. I would say maybe March, February, who knows.
So, I mean...
And it's the
yeah,
first thing we released since 95, 96. So.
Yes.
We have the old DRI producer, Bill Matoyer, working on too,
Correct. Who did Crossover and Four of a Kind.
right? And a bunch of Slayer, Mentors, Trouble.
Oh, yeah.
You name it, man. He's like Metal Blade awesomeness.
Mm-hmm.
That's kick-ass. I mean, so it's like hell freezing over in a good way that DRI is coming back. But the second part of that...
I'm happier than fuck.
Well, I would imagine, but the second part of that whole thought that I want to ask you is, obviously you guys are a part of the underground scene. You've been doing this for, 35 years or so. I don't know if relevance is the right word, but for lack of a better term, at 1:30 in the morning and after a few beers or so, how has DRI maintained just being relevant, going 2 decades without producing new music? How do you have an audience reaction like tonight everywhere you play for this long without having made new music in that span of time?
Just like most bands, people want to hear the old shit that they know. They don't want to really hear new stuff, you know? And especially, you know, with I guess us, people really like the early DRI.
Mm-hmm.
And so we give them what they want. We play the old stuff, and they keep coming and seeing the show, so... And you're making us a little older than we are. It's only 33 years, not 35.
Sorry
Yeah,
about
we
that.
don't-
Like I said, the beers are talking. I know my stuff, it's just the beers are talking.
What do they say? What do the beers say?
You tell me. I don't know.
I don't, hold on. Put me down, you have to drive.
Okay, so Spike, on the flip side of that, why is now the good time for the band to make new material?
Because we just happened to be in L.A. where Bill Matoyer was in a studio and we had a couple days off when we were on tour. So hey, like,
I really, really wanted to be on a DRI album just to put my stamp on it, you know?
You just finally said 17 years is long enough. I got to be on a record.
And-
I got to have some writing credits.
And then, so Spike's probably going to replace my bass lines. He's going to re-record them himself.
yes.
Since I'm, you know...
I already did, actually, and that's why it's taking so long to come out, because I had to go back down and record the bass tracks.
Boy, I asked for that one, didn't I? So,
Spike,
seriously, though.
Spike, I wanted to ask you about the band's sound, especially guitar-wise, because when you hear DRI guitars, it's such a signature sound. You know it's the band. You know it's DRI. But I mean, it's like 99% just that raw, crunchy sound. There's no shrilling or wailing of the high-pitched electric sound. It's just that raw. I mean, when you first formed the band, what was your line of thinking as far as, hey, I'm sure a part of you said, hey, I want to make some sound that nobody has ever done before, but it's lasted 3 decades or so.
It was nothing like that at all.
Really? That's why I'm asking. I want to know.
I just did what sounded good to me, and I didn't know. You know, I just did what I thought sounded good, and I didn't try to copy anybody else's sound. I knew that when we were going to play really fast, that I couldn't play with too much low end, and so I tried to work on my sound that, you know, would sound good playing slow and playing fast, and not like change too drastically or become muddy or whatever. I didn't like the mid-range tones that a lot of the metal bands had, and so I kind of just sucked the mid-range out of my sound and put it bottom end and top end and kind of made a happy face on my EQ, and
Is that where that came from?
and that's where it came from,
Yeah.
and that's why
What
I've
about-
always done that.
What about your, like, rock influences? We got a little Jimmy Page and Richie Blackmore there, maybe?
Yeah, but not in tone or any sound.
Right, but
in,
it's
in
as
some
far as-
riffs and writing and that kind of stuff, definitely. I got influences from old school rock to, you know, metal bands and punk rock bands and hardcore bands and all that kind of stuff. But my sound basically just came from, you know, what I had to work with and what I thought would sound good, playing fast and playing slow. And
Sure.
And you definitely got a unique style, because a few times we had a couple people fill in for us.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. Just these little subtleties, little harmonics, little whammy bar things that they didn't pick up on. It was like, yeah, I mean, it was really
That's
distinct.
like the Jimi Hendrix part
Yeah.
of my playing. Like he does a lot of weird
Yeah.
licks and fills, and it's like that's not straight. And I like that about Hendrix, so I adapted that.
You can't spell Hendrix without D.R.I.
There you go. Very nice, very nice.
Think about that.
What can you tell me about what stands out the most about the band's Houston beginnings? I know you guys moved to the Bay Area of California later on, where I was about to ask if that's where your beginnings with Harold started, as far as getting to know each other. But what sticks out the most? What can you tell me about the band's beginnings here in Texas and the whole move west and how that played out in the band's evolution?
Well, we just came out of the hardcore movement. We started in '82. We were going to clubs and watching Minor Threat and Black Flag and the Dead Kennedys. And we were really influenced by them, liked what they were doing, we liked that whole hardcore movement. We were hardcore kids, and we said, we can do this too. And we started doing it.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we started opening up for these bands coming through, and it was awesome. And wow, people are starting to like us. We did that demo with 22 songs in 17 minutes, and that took off, and that was a big thing, and it was really a big stepping stone for us. And we realized, we want to stop being the band that opens up for all these bands coming through. We want to be one of those bands on tour. And to do that, we had to leave Houston and stop playing the same two clubs that we were playing, was Omni and the Island. And we went to San Francisco, where a lot of bands before us did the same thing. They moved from Texas to San Francisco and squatted in vats and beer vats and went to soup kitchens to eat. And we know they did it. They said, come on, we'll help you out. We'll get you food stamps. We'll show you a free place where you can sleep, and you can practice and you'll be on tour. And sure enough, we moved out there, and within 2 months we were on tour with MDC and Rock Against Reagan tour all over the world, and all over the country, not the world yet. And Dead Kennedys were that big headliner, and we were playing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial on July 4th or whatever, July 3rd. It was awesome. And that was the whole Houston start, and moved out to San Francisco. And then a couple years later, we ran into Harold, and that was the beginning of the end.
Well, Dead Kennedys will be here next weekend, by the way,
Awesome.
here in town. But Mr. Oimoen,
Yes,
I
sir.
wanted to get your perspective on it, first of all, before we get to the book, as far as, which he is shamelessly plugging here, by the way. But
Shamefully.
when was your first contact with the guys in D.R.I? Was it, how long before you officially joined the band? Did you have much of a history with these guys?
Yeah, I got a lot of history, actually. First time I saw them, they opened for Slayer in Sacramento at the Crest Theater. And I'd never heard a band play that fast before. And Dave Lombardo was in the front row, and he was singing all the words to the songs. I'd never even heard him before, and here he knew the words to every single song. In fact, there's a picture in my book on page 329. Anyway,
Let's see it.
yeah. But no, I was blown away that Dave Lombardo was so into this band, and he just plugged them every chance he could get. And fast forward a year or two, and I got to know Spike, taking photos and stuff, and this is before the end, like he said.
Yeah, he became a photographer for the longest time, and he was taking pictures of everybody. He was like a famous bad photographer.
I love the compliment to the insult. It's like, they kind of cancel
The
each other
D.R.I.
out.
way, yes.
Yeah.
Somehow or another, he was able to take pictures of all these bands with horrible cameras. And look at this. This is where it
So
got
go ahead
him.
and show. That segues right into it.
This is
For those of
an
you who
amazing
don't,
book.
For those of you who don't know, Harold started out as a photographer in the Bay Area scene.
Hell yeah.
Photographing the Big Four before they were known as the Big Four, when they were starting out. Metallica, Slayer, all those guys, all these thrash bands, Exodus, Death Angel. Harold's stamp is on this book. Of course, show them the cover. The title is
Yeah.
Murder in the Front Row, if you didn't know
From the
about it.
Exodus song, Murder in the Front
It came
Row.
out a couple years ago, right?
Yes, it did.
Pages of oodles of glossy photos from back in the day in the 80s.
Spike when he was a blonde surf guy. Right?
Yep.
Harold's stamp is all over this book.
Yes.
Tell people how they can buy it and what should they know about it.
You can get it from bazillionpoints.com, and if you order it from the publisher, you get a free Metallica Exodus slipcover.
Sweet.
But no, the books came out awesome.
I mean, look at these killer pictures.
Yeah, here's Lombardo with Kurt. Zoom in on that.
Wow.
When Kurt used to shop at the thrift store. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Did I say he used to shop at the thrift store?
Why didn't he wear that tonight?
Actually, that was dirty. He had some clean clothes. Anyway, but it's like Slayer, Metallica, Possessed,
Look
Exodus.
at this stuff.
Yeah, it's all. It's like tons of photos.
Early pictures.
I gotta give a little credit to my co-author Brian Liu, who's another friend of mine. I've known him since day one in the Bay Area, metalhead, and he took like the first 40 pages or 50 pages of Metallica shots with.
There's a lot of Metallica, so if you're a Metallica fan, this is a must-have.
Yes, thank you.
Obviously, you're so busy with DRI, but where does your love of concert photography fall? Do you have time to go out and shoot shows? Is that still a passion of yours?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, I feel kind of like naked without my camera. I'm so used to taking shots, but not quite as much as I used to. But I might be putting out another book on my own too, More Murder in the Front Row. And it's gonna have way more DRI stuff in this one. Probably a lot of stuff featuring our photographer, guitar tech, Miss Janet Perry, sitting right behind us here. And yeah, it should be awesome. But
Should be in the back row though. The next one.
Murder in the back row.
Murder in the back row. There you go.
People trying to see because people
Flowers in the back row.
But no, you can get it from bazillionpoints.com or
Check it out. Great stuff.
finer bookstores everywhere. And thanks for having us, man.
Cool. No problem. Spike, let's wrap it up by telling everybody out there DRI's tour plans. What's going on as far as are you taking a break over the holidays? Are you guys continuing on the road? Where can people expect to see DRI in the coming weeks?
Yes.
Well, after getting stuck in a blizzard and having to sleep in a van under an overpass
Down by the river.
3 feet of snow, we now take the winters off.
Yes.
We don't tour, basically. We go up to like 2 weeks before December, and we're down here in the south when that happens. And then we're good until like end of February next year, and we basically do this now every year. We basically take the winters off, and so if we can, we'll go down to South America or Australia or whenever we try to do it then, because it's like summer then. But we're going to do this routine basically the same every year. So we go 10 months, 9 months a year. We play 15, maybe 10 to 15 shows a month. We go out and do a week or 2 runs here and there and go home and then go back out. We don't tour like we used to and do like 60 days in a row or anything like that in a van down by the river.
Yay!
But we still get 80 or 90 shows under our belt every year. So.
And DRI has a brand new drummer, Walter. I just spoke with him moments ago. He's
Walter Ryan.
literally just joined about 3 or 4 weeks
Monster,
ago.
yeah.
What should fans know about him? I mean, he's killer drummer.
He's an awesome drummer. He's played with so many bands. We would have to start the interview over and put another tape in there because the list goes on, but like he's played with Machine Head and Possessed and
Testament and Cro-Mags and Madball
and he's an awesome drummer,
Yeah.
and we're glad to have him. We really are. We're
Awesome.
sounding
He was
great,
good.
and it's inspiration to keep going.
Well, Harold did say before the camera went on that he did want to do a 2-hour interview, but it is almost 2 in the morning, and we are going to let these guys go. But I did want to show you one of the most recent visits you guys had. Here was at the White Rabbit, February 2011, with Death Angel and Lazarus AD.
Awesome.
I remember you joined up when Mark and Rob were just jamming during Death Angel's set.
Oh, yeah.
You jumped up on stage with them and had a great time, but
didn't kick my ass either.
somebody in the crowd threw out this awesome crossover shirt, and the guy who caught it apparently was too big for it, so he's like, hey, it's not my size, here you go, and he threw it to me. So, just one of those crossover shirts. Long sleeve.
Wow.
This is the time of the year, it's December, even in Texas it
What
gets a
size
little
is that?
chilly.
Oh, the size has been ripped off.
Yeah, it's okay, it's a large, but it's got all the tour dates here
Because it
on
was
the
XL,
back. So
I'd give you 25
that
for
was
it right now.
right after Valentine's Day in 2011.
Can I be a spokesmodel?
Yeah, absolutely. Help
No,
yourself.
you have to hold it.
Okay.
No, you be the spokesmodel.
There you
and I'll
go.
hold
Yeah,
it. You go like
crossover
this with your
shirt.
hand, like-
I mean, who can forget? I mean, just Thrash Zone, 4 of a kind crossover.
Yes.
DRI's killer music. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Gracious guys. Harold Oimoen, Mr.
Thank
Oimoen.
you.
Spike Cassidy right here.
And we gotta say, San Antonio has been one of the best places for us to play since day one. We love it here, and thank you guys. It's awesome.
Absolutely
Yes.
gracious.
San Antonio kicked our ass.
Go
and vice
check,
versa.
go check out DRI on tour if they're coming to a city near you, and look out for their brand new music coming early next year. So,
Yes.
But wait,
guys.
there's more. Thank you again.
All right, thank you so much, Spike. Harold, thank you
Cheers.
again. For the guys in DRI, Jane on to San Antonio Metal Music Examiner for Access.com, reminding you don't hang them out to dry. Hold them up high.
Don't hang them out to DRI. Thanks, man. Hooters.